What's going on, everybody? Devin Fury back. Hope everybody is having a great day or night whenever you plan to watch this video. But we are having a Marine Corps story today, so let's kick it. What I want to talk to you guys today, or tell you guys, is my story of me breaking the news to my parents that I want to join the Marine Corps. So, let's begin. I would say I had to bring it back until, or at least into sophomore year of high school. At that point, I'm taking some, or about to start taking some automotive classes because I like working on things. I like using my hands. I've always worked on vehicles when I'm working with my dad in the garage and stuff, you know. But I'm also at the point, like, I really don't know what I want to do. I'm not enjoying school, besides the fact that I'm in sports. I'm hanging out with all my buddies. Like, I hate classwork. I hate PowerPoints, which is one thing the Marine Corps is huge on, is PowerPoints. So if you didn't know that, there's your warning. But anyways, I don't like school in general. So I start thinking, and very many times going while I'm driving, go to Walmart or something, or go to Dunham's to pick something up. I'm driving past the recruiting office, and I always see it. And at first I didn't know it was there. And I had mentioned before to my parents, I was like, you know, about the military, like just little like things here and there, like, yo, I'm gonna join the military. Like, what about the military? At the time I knew nothing about it. All I knew is that my cousin joined, and he joined the Marine Corps. He talked to me about it a lot, showed me like crazy ass videos, and I always like a challenge. Like, I'm not one to back down. If somebody challenged me, I'm gonna try my best to kick their ass. That's just a fact. So I'm just dropping these things. I'm like, you know, what about the Marine Corps? What about military? Yada yada yada. So I would say it was the spring of my sophomore year. So we're closing it up, and it's track season, and I had a day off, and my dad had brought up to me like a couple weeks back, like, well, if you're interested, why don't you go talk to a recruiter, or go just see what it's about, because that's the best thing you can do is explore options. So I was like, alright. So this day, took my happy ass and I walked to the recruiting office. And at that point I was pretty fucking nervous, because I was like, I've never been here before. This is like Marine Corps, people save the world, and all that's trash, you know. So I go in there, and the staff sergeant at the time, which was my first original recruiter that took me through the whole process, I talked to her, and she was like, you know, we talked for a while. They gave me like these tabs and stuff and everything. We went through all that stuff, all this pre-screening stuff, and then she was like, okay, if you want to see more about it, keep coming around. We train on Thursdays. So I showed up on Thursday, and I tell you the truth, at sophomore year I was 16 years old, like average age at sophomore year. I got 2 pull-ups, or chin-ups, they weren't even pull-ups, and I think I got around 64 crunches or something like that. Oh, because we were running IST that day. But then we come to the run, and I was always a good runner in high school. I always did track, football, basketball, you name it. I was a very active kid, and I beat every pulley in the run. It made me feel really good, and that's when like everybody there, like, I just kind of stuck out immediately, and I was the only one in that pulley program at the time from my town, so they started calling me my town name, and I'm not gonna say it, but they just started calling me that. So it was kind of like motivating, like it made me feel good. Like, I just beat all these guys, even like the top guy, he was about to ship out in like 4-5 months or so. He'd like max out on the pull-ups, max on the crunches, and always did pretty good on the run, and I beat that guy in the run, so it made me feel really good. So anyways, back to my parents, I do all this stuff, and I think closing out the end of my sophomore year, I tell my dad, I was like, Dad, I want to join the Marine Corps, like, let me sign. And his biggest rule, he would not let me sign until I was 18, until I was old enough to sign it without parental consent. Which, at his part, I think was a very smart idea, because it gave me more time to think about my options, actually think about what I wanted to do. Maybe my mind would change in those 2 years, because if I signed it, I'm obligated to go. And then if I change my mind, like, I'm just like, fuck, like, how do I get out of this, you know? Obviously it wasn't the case, but anyways, so we keep rolling the rest of the time. Through junior year, kind of passed it off a little bit, showed up here and there, didn't think about it too much. Marine Corps is still in my mind. And just kind of go through junior year, I'm like, you know what, I can't sign, I'm not going to do too much about it. Then it hits my senior year. And during this whole time, this whole year, like a year and a half up to my senior year, it was only the Marine Corps. I never looked through the whole time until I went to boot camp. Never looked at the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Coast Guard. Never looked at nobody. I was dead set on the Marine Corps since sophomore year. Pretty much that, hey dad, but to myself, like, I'm gonna join the Marine Corps. So I hit my senior year. I start going more on Thursdays, and it was the winter of my senior year, and my birthday's in December. So happy birthday to me, by the way. I just turned 21 a couple weeks ago. Just saying. But anyways, it passed my birthday. I was about to go up and sign one day during the week. It was my I had a basketball game that day, and you know, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna miss this basketball game and I'm gonna go sign. And then I was talking to my parents and some other people. I was like, you know what, like, they kind of talked me out of it that for that specific time. And I was like, you know what, it's my senior year. This is my last basketball season I'm ever gonna get, because I didn't go plan on playing college. I don't think personally I was even good enough to go play in college. So I messaged my recruiter and I was like, I'm not going up to sign this weekend. I have a basketball game, I don't want to miss it. And she kind of like blew up over text messages, and I was like, whoa, like, where did this come from? Like, I still plan on enlisting, and I'm telling her this, and I was like, it made me really mad. And I was like, you know what, maybe if they're gonna act like this to me, like, I'm not gonna fucking join. I don't give a shit. They're gonna be a fucking asshole to me. And that was my mindset. And then the next day, which I think there was a basketball game, I get a text back from her, and she's like, she apologized and stuff like that, and just tried to figure out when I could enlist later on. So we handled that all out. And then it kind of hit my parents. I was like, I talked to my recruiter again. I went up to my parents. I think we kind of like sat down after dinner, or we talked about at dinner. I don't really fully remember, but I was like, yeah, we changed the date. I'm going on these dates. There's nothing gonna be in the way. I'm gonna miss a day of school, and I'm gonna go up and enlist at MEPS. And they're like, are you sure? Are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. Like, this is what I want to do. I don't want to go to school. I hate school. Like, I'm gonna join the Marine Corps. And they're like, all right. And obviously, nobody wants to see their kids leave, you know? If you're like really close to your parents, or your parents, most parents should love their kids. Even if they're going in state to in college, they like, then leaving is like the worst part. And then going to the military and possibly going to overseas combat and such, like, nobody wants to see that. So they were pretty sad, I would say, at the time. But you know, at the end of the day, it's your choice. It's what do you want to do with your life. So it comes the day I go. It was crazy because, little fun fact, I hadn't missed school ever since I moved to Michigan from Texas. I hadn't missed a day of school until the day I enlisted to go up to MEPS. So I left, I enlisted, and that day was long. Let me tell you, I can have a whole nother video on MEPS. There's so much that goes down. But I swore in, got all the paperwork handed in, everything was situated, everything was tight. I come back, I left I left the day before at night after I think basketball practice or something, and then I went to a hotel like up in Lansing, I want to say, and then the next morning is when I started MEPS, and then at the very end of that day is when I got done, and the recruiter brought me home. So it's a very long day to enlist, but you gotta do it. So I come back, and it's about dinner time. Actually, I think they're setting the table, or they just cleaning up. I remember that night, and I walk in the room, and they were kind of surprised because I don't think I told them I was on my way back, but they're like, "Did it happen?" I was like, "Yeah, I enlisted," and they're like, "Okay." Like, it was my choice. They have to accept it, whether they like the decision or not. It's your decision. Like I said, it's your life. You live it how you want to live it. So that was that. That was in December of 2016. So my ship date was originally September of, or wait. Nope, it was, sorry. December 2015 was when I enlisted, and my ship date was September of 2017. So I had about a 9-month grace period. And the plan was I finished school, I would work over the summer, and then by the end of summer, it'd be about time to go. Perfect, right? Make some money, leave, and I have some money to start Marine Corps off with, help me out, whatever I need. Perfect, good plan. So I tell my parents that, they're like, all right, we have the summer, we have time to spend with you and all that before you leave, everything's tight. Now comes the end of my senior year in June of 2016. Yeah. Graduated high school, graduated high school, go, and about, I don't remember when I talked to my recruiter, but I called my recruiter, I think, either right before I graduated or like a week after, and I called her, and she called me because I told her I wanted to leave early for boot camp. And I get a call, and I'm like, hello? And she's like, hey, do you still want to leave early? And I was like, fuck yeah. And she was like, all right, how about June 12th? And June 12th was like the next week. And like, I was ready to go. Like, I was like, okay, fuck it, I can get away from summer. I was like, yeah, that works. And I just said it right there. She's like, all right, it's booked. And then after the finishing cover conversation, we hung up. And then I just looked into the kitchen because my stepmom was in there. And I kind of had that like spooked face that like would scare your parents if you looked at them weird. And I just looked over, and I was just like, and she's like, what? And I was like, I'm leaving next week. Or something like that. I'm pretty sure that's how when I just looked at her, and she's like, started freaking out. She's like, what? And I was like, I'm leaving next week. And she said, what? Really loud? And I said, yep, just got off the phone with my recruiter. I'm leaving next week. She's like, well, you better go tell your dad. And I was like, all right. I walked outside. My dad was cleaning his truck or something. I was like, Dad, guess what? And he goes, what? He's like, I just got off the phone with my recruiter, and I'm leaving next week. And he was like, what? It's kind of like the same reaction, both surprised, but I got what I wanted. I got to leave early. And I literally left the day after my graduation party, the next morning. So that's pretty much the story. I'm not going to get into the sob party that happened that next morning when the recruiter showed up, because that's when it started to get real. Like, I'm leaving. And now it's crazy. Time's flown by. I've been gone for 2.5 years. Granted, I've been home on leave to see my family, but not like crazy amount of times. I think 3 or 4 times. Then 2.5 years for a short period. So that's basically the story. If you enjoyed the video of this boot camp stories, kind of pre-boot camp stories, please drop a like on the video, comment, subscribe if you're new. Good videos are coming, I promise. More and more. We're up to 133 subs. It's freaking awesome, and I've been getting feedback, Instagram messages from you guys. If you need it, Instagram will be right here. Snapchat will be right here. Follow, send me messages. I want to do a Q&A in the near future, so please, on anything, Instagram, whatever, YouTube comments, drop me questions. Send more than one question. I'll be happy to put them together, do a Q&A for you guys. That's one video I haven't been able to do because I haven't been able to get too many questions. So look forward to that, and it is your boy Devin, and I'm out. Peace.